In this episode, heading further north up the western coastline of Spain to a beautiful bay called Muros, where Mark loses the tender. So there's Vigo, that's where I was staying the other night, or over here at this anchorage. And then yesterday afternoon I came round here, lovely sheltered bay, in Playa de Anías, down in here. And you can see coming down, I showed them yesterday all these salmon farms. I was trying to sort of get my head around it. Took a bit of thinking about, but I think I've worked it out. I mean, they are all salmon boats over there. The whole town is set up for it. And I just wonder if the town was really struggling and it was kind of offered to it a number of years ago as effectively an economic saviour, because really it does totally encroach in the whole bay. But it's one of the few places around here where you could safely have salmon farms that would be out of inclement weather. And it's kind of all I could really think about. I've tried looking into it, can't find much, but yeah, I think that's probably it, that it economically saved the village. Because there's certainly plenty of activity going on. They're out there all the time working, coming and going, and there's quite a bit going on in town. So yeah, I put it down to that. Anyway, the weather today out there supposedly not the nicest. It actually looks okay, possibly could have gone. But the distance I'm going tomorrow, I was only planning on getting there tomorrow, if I left this morning to stay somewhere on the way tonight, I would still get there tomorrow. So I'm just going to have a longer day tomorrow, and the weather is actually looking an awful lot better tomorrow. So I've decided to have a day of editing. It's a biggie, you'll have seen it by now. And then head off tomorrow. So this doesn't make sense. We've got the compass on the pilot house reading 050, upstairs is 030. So the upstairs one's accurate, the downstairs one is not. It's now only 20 degrees out, whereas it's normally 50 degrees out. So we are facing northeast, because there is a northeasterly wind out there blowing, and yet the wind direction is showing southerly, south-southeast. The heading on the GPS is showing southwest, but we're actually heading northeast, and that's just wobbling backwards and forwards, and yet we're not moving that much. It's going left to right, left to right. We got a power surge before. We suddenly lost 240 volt. I've started the generator, we've got it again. I'm going to turn it off once we've got a bit more battery voltage. We got down to about 60, we're 68 now. All we had on was the oven. It's something really weird. I've got the 24 volt and the 12 volt on. It makes no sense. Very simply, we are heading northeast. GPS heading is 193, so it's out by basically 180 degrees, and the wind is reading out by 180 degrees. And all of a sudden this compass is only out by 20 degrees when it's normally out by 50, 60, at times 70. There's something wrong. So I'm going to shut everything down and I'm going to power up again and just see what happens. Okay, the autopilot's come up. The nav stations have not. Now they normally come up when you put the 12 and 24 volt on. The heading on the autopilot is right. 025. You explain that. That makes no sense whatsoever. It's now powered up a reset, off then on, and they're correct. Everything's oriented correctly now. Man, that was a brain fart for me, but okay. Wow. Shows how important your compass is. Well, good morning. It's 23rd of January, Thursday. We've been anchored here at Praes de Aeneas. Great anchorage actually. I got some neat drone footage yesterday which I'll share with you. And then we're about to head off. So basically being told by the Spanish police I have to leave Spain. We're looking into that. I think they've got it wrong. Got someone helping me that thinks they've got it wrong as well, but in the meantime I'm going to keep heading north, which means I kind of miss out on that whole area around Galicia, which is a real shame, but that's life. So today just got 35 miles to go. We've got some not so good weather coming up, so I'll just show you on here. So it's 9 o'clock in the morning. Here we are up here just to the north of Vigo. We're heading about 35 miles to the north. You can see got northerly wind coming through. It was through here most of the night. It's only about 6 knots at the moment, which is right. Let's go through to 5 o'clock tonight. 5 knots, so the whole day on ECWMF, which is the most pessimistic one. Normally it's pretty good, but then I'll just slide it through here and you can see what happens tomorrow. We've got that weather system moving in from the northwest, the wind's building, and it gets up to about 25, 28, which probably means 35, 40 in reality. But up in here there's a beautiful little anchorage, so you'll see that when we get there. But that's Friday, so I figure I want to head up there, get to a sheltered spot. If we just pop over to the waves, here we are again, ECWMF. On that Friday, the waves go right up to 5.4 metres, and they're coming in from the west, so again we've got protection up in this bay from the west. But then today go right back to Thursday and we're down to 1.5, 1.4, and we know that with the 8-second period of those swells that's actually okay. I'm just trying a new spot for the camera here, because I did notice in the last footage that we're sort of not getting a good look at the display, so I'm just going to give it a bit of a go. We'll see what we think, but at the moment it sort of feels like I'm sitting at a bit of a weird angle to you. So I'll just come around and you can see it on the chart here. In fact, I'll take it off to do that because we can show that really well then. Here we are in the drag circle. You see we had a southerly wind and it moved around to the north. So we tested both sides of the drag circle. Got a total distance today of 35 miles. We'll just zoom out. Comes out of here, a lot of shallow ground around out here. There's some rocks that are actually exposed over there. You possibly can't see them, but they're just poking their nose above the water. Not the sort of area you'd really want to go out of at night. Lots of boats around, lots of salmon farms everywhere. Yeah, but other than that, it's a gorgeous day out there. Anyway, let's just zoom out. So we're coming out of this bay. I had all day yesterday in here, and it was pretty well sheltered until that northerly came in. Keep zooming out, and there it is there. Just let that all settle in. Yep, we come out here around the nature reserve, round to the west of the mainland there, and zoom in there so you can see where we're actually going to end up. Let that go in there. There is a marina there, but effectively we're going to Muros, Ensenada de Muros, and there's the anchorage in there. So not that well protected from the southerly, which is where all those winds are going to be coming in from. But we'll just anchor with our anchor out there, and we can. I've got confidence in the anchor. What's important to me is that the massive swells coming in off the Atlantic, we've got protection from that. So there is a marina here, and I can go there as well. It's about €32 for the night. So I'm going to check whether they're available or not for my stay there. But at the end of the day, my intention is to anchor in this bay. Anyway, big picture, obviously being told to get out of, might flick on you here soon, been told to get out of Spain, so we're coming up the west coast of Spain there, and there's the, oh, I thought it might have jumped across, but it doesn't. That's good, look. Oh yep, it had to happen. There is the Bay of Biscay in there, pretty notorious. You can see where it goes from being really deep here to quite shallow. Look at it, 5,000 metres deep to 100. So that's a pretty renowned area for intense weather. So I'm just coming up this west coast, going to get up to Finisterre, the end of the Camino, and then come around the headland and then quietly make my way along the north coast of Spain, and I'll pick up Gary in Santander, and then we'll get into France, where hopefully we can get the 3-month bilateral. Anyway, time to go. Oil pressure there, starboard engine, oil pressure on the port engine. It's gone low battery for some reason at 61. It's supposed to do that at 60. That's pretty close. Yeah, we'll go and get the snubber off the anchor. This bloody Vespa radio again. It's a useless radio from Garmin, I'm afraid. Sad thing is, it's made in New Zealand, but honestly, it's not the best. I'll sort that out later. So I'll put my portable one on, go to channel 16. So I got that ready, and we'll go and get the snubber in. Alright, so just trying to bring the anchor in. Snubber came off really well. Getting pretty used to doing this now from the pilot house. Get the radar going. So, coming towards the centre of the drag circle. There we go, there it is at the bottom. And give it a little pull. Yep, jiggle, 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 it's off the bottom. And it's nicely in the middle there of the roller. I am going to paint a point about a metre long so I can see that colour come across the chain. Then I know that it's almost at the top. There we go. Absolutely like clockwork. Absolutely like clockwork. I'll just go out and put the vibration guard on. Righto. Here we go. Let's just go a little bit out. Alright, the track that it's got actually looks pretty good. Yep, I don't see any reason why I can't go in there. Alright, we've got follow route here. Anchor drag alarm. So we'll change the alarm, turn that off. The guy's working on their salmon farm out there. Give them a wee blast on the horn. Alright, I'm going to go into heading, and we're going to come across between these two buoys. Not buoys. Come across between these two salmon platforms. A lot of boats working around here, man. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 boats out there working on these farms. So big employers, I would suspect. Big employers. Good on them. You know, you've got the concerns around the environment, but in the end, people have got to live, don't they? What a gorgeous day. I'm starting to feel good about things. Yeah, just going to take my time now. Got this little weather window for heading north, so north we go. Disappointed I'm going to miss out on a lot of Galicia. I'm going to stop in at Finisterre, which is the end of the Camino, and hopefully if I've got time, or if the weather's okay, I'm happy to leave the boat, walk down there, probably take most of a day. That would sort of be the end of a journey in some ways of the Camino we did. yeah, it's a shame Fiona won't be with me, Sweetie won't be with me, and Ross and Jenny, because we finished in Santiago de Compostela with them all those years ago, but it's an opportunity and just not one to be missed. Right, clear of that pontoon on the left. Let's go out and pick the track up. Temperature's coming up nicely, oil pressure's good, charging the battery. All's well on Awanui NZ. Gee, these platforms just stand out beautifully on the radar, as you'd expect, but amazing, just all those blobs in an absolutely uniform grid. Dominates the bay. Wow, it dominates the bay. And we're in 17 metres of water, so it's not that deep. I wonder how many fish are around, because I'm assuming they're manually feeding all these. Yeah, look, there's schools. Oh wow, schools of fish under the boat. I suspect it's a bit like back home, the mussel farms. It's where you get good snap around them, because of course they're throwing food in the water all the time. But yeah, man, big schools under the boat. Departing, destination Muros. Just coming across the final bay now, towards Muros, where I'll be staying for the next couple of days with a bit of a storm coming in. You can see out there tons of reefs, man, and they're only, some of them just below the water, and we're at about half tide now and they're only just out of the water, so yeah, pretty lethal. There's been quite a few of those up and down the coast, so a few track diversions just to give them a good wide berth. We're currently in about 50 metres of water, so nice and deep where we are. That's them on the chart there. It's gone a little bit wide of the recommended track, or the auto track, because that takes you pretty close. And that's where we're heading into for the next couple of days. Muros, Ensenada de Muros. Nice sheltered bay, possibly still get a bit of the southerly coming in through here, but good protection from the west and northwest, which is the predominant swell coming in here. 9 miles to go and doing 5.3 knots, so just a little under 2 hours. Here we are coming into Muros, and we were going to look at that anchor, but some bad reports there about rubbish that you pick up with your anchor, so we're going to look at either here or over here. Third option is the marina, and apparently we can expect some pretty bad weather over the next 5 days, right into Tuesday. I'll just tap there by Muros. 6.5 metre swells coming through. See those there. The period's 11.9 seconds. It doesn't really help that much. And just starting to die off on Tuesday. So basically from now until then is not very good. And there's the wind. So just 2 knots today, but then you'll see the colour change. Look at that. So right up to 20 odd knots. It does start dying off, then you need to get another lot come through from the southwest, and that's going to be right up to 18-20 knots as well. So yeah, interesting to see what it's like, but I'll have a bit of a mooch around, and I may just decide to go into the marina, seeing this is a really big 5-day rough period. Just coming around the corner now, and I'll give you the picture outside. You gotta be friggin' kidding, Mark. You put the camera on the wrong way round, you plonker. Slow down. 14 minutes going into a beautiful bay, looking at the base of the spotlight. Alright, this just goes from bad to worse, I'm afraid, at the moment. Been a pretty rough day. I had a terrible night last night because it was so rolly. I'm at anchor in Muros, but last night it was flat calm, so I took the tender off and had it tied on to the back of the boat. And unfortunately I just had a bit of a snooze this afternoon, and I've got up and the line has snapped. It's a big line, you've seen it. It's the line that you use on a boat. And it's now dark and the tender is somewhere down the bay and I've got no means of getting around. So I've got a local guy trying to help me, but yeah, this is not looking good, but I'll try and keep you updated as possible. Wow, this is not good. Right, well, I'm all kitted up to go. The marina, luckily, has gone to the rescue boat. Great things, those. It's massive, man. Asking them if they've got a rib that they could come over and pick me up on, and we could go and try and find it. So I'm just waiting to hear back. He's going to call me on Channel 9 once he's spoken to them, but it's pretty miserable out here, although it has just died off, thank goodness. I'm just hoping somebody can do something, because it was a pretty expensive tender and it's going to be down the end there. There's nowhere else it can go. It would have just floated down there. I'm just hoping someone hasn't picked it up and pinched it, but anyway, yeah, we'll see where we go from here. There's some guy fishing out there. I was hoping he'd come in. I've flashed at him a few times, but he's not looking at me at the moment. Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. Oh, well, that's three things. That's got to be the end, doesn't it, for the time being? Surely, surely. Blinking heck. Alright, so the rescue boat can't put a tender in, so I'm going to go into the marina and then I'm going to walk down and try and find it. And then if I can find it, just pay whoever, whatever, to get it back. So the mariner says there's plenty of room in there for us. So we're just heading forward slightly. And we'll just bring the anchor in. And we'll head into the marina. Okay, get the bow thrusters on, I've got the nav lights on. The wind's been dying off a little bit, which is quite nice. Screen wipers on, it's raining a little bit, not too bad though. Alright, going towards the centre of the drag circle. Oh, I've never had this happen where the tender's let go. Well, I have, because I didn't tie it properly, but it certainly didn't let go of where I tied it. So I'll have to worry about why I did that later. That's not the issue now. Now there have been issues, people bringing their anchors off here, so fingers crossed we're in a good place. I'm trying to get to the middle. If I get to the middle, then it shouldn't drag the anchor along, it'll just lift it off the bottom. Right, pretty sure that's it there, wanting to come off. Right, here it comes, that should be up. Whoop, we're in the middle, so I'll just come to a halt. Can't be far off now. Right, I'm just going to pop out and make sure there's nothing hooked on it. Alright, just a little bit of rag. So what people say here is quite right. It's got all sorts of rubbish around. Okay, in we go. Muros Marina, Awanui, NZ. We are just starting to come in now.
Okay, sir. I'm waiting for you here now, okay?
Okay, and is the wind on or off the dock?
Here in the first pontoon, okay? Don't worry, I have a Dutch here. Don't worry. Okay, you checked my light, sir?
Yes, I see your light. Stand by. Okay, 11 metres coming in. Can't see much in there, but we've got a red light and a green light supposedly. None of them are on. Okay, still going forward. I think he wants us on the main dock there. Quite a bit of wind. Got 34 knots. Can you shine your light again, please?
Repeat, please.
Can you shine your light again?
Yeah, don't worry. Don't worry, yeah.
Right, we are back on. That was 30 knots. Phew, if nothing else, that went well. My goodness. Oh, right, I got on the pier. Man, I'm proud of myself there. That was 30 knots. 30 knots, but straight behind. But hey, managed to back on okay. We got the midship springer on, and great Marinero, he was a big help. But anyway, I'm now going to walk right down the other end of the bay, probably a couple of kilometres, and try and find the tender. If I can find it, then I'm going to try and see if I can secure it in some way. Maybe even get back on board and ride it up the side. We'll see how I go. Anyway, I've got to go and try and find it. Well, you're not going to believe this, but I've found her. She's washed up on the shore over here. Don't know as yet what condition it's in, but look at that. I'm pretty sure that's her. Yeah, wow. Wow. Oh my goodness. Whoa. Oh, am I lucky or what? Now all I've got to do is get it far enough out to be able to start the engine. I got the engine was up on the back of the boat. There you go, there's a good reason for always leaving the engine up. Oh my goodness, look at that, I'm so lucky. Oh, look at that. I am so lucky. Oh my goodness. Wow. I'm probably 300 metres away, maybe even half a k. It could have gone on a better bloody beach. It could have friggin' well gone up over there on the sand. Now it's sitting here on the little rocks and that, but wow, 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 I am so lucky. Oh my goodness, I need to learn. Another lesson for Mark. When does it stop? Anyway, let's just make sure she starts. Oh, let's get it in here. Get that open. Get the battery going. Yep. It's going to start. Right. Okay. So, here's the engine up. Let's check it starts. Yep. Okay. Just take a breath, Mark. Slow up for a second. And count yourself lucky. Wow. You know what? I'm prepared to say, who knows, maybe I was supposed to go on to the marina because there's 10-metre waves out in the Bay of Biscay next Tuesday. And we've got 6 lines on the boat. I'm going to put more fenders around tomorrow. Maybe it was just meant to be, eh? Anyway, here we go. Here we go. Right. Here we go. It's going. Got the nav lights on. Oh. Just stay out a little bit. It's going to be a little bit breezy probably, but wow. I'm so lucky. I am so lucky. Right. Just going to go around and circles a bit. Get that water out. Here we go. I just can't say how lucky I am. I've got my life jacket on, I've got my EPIRB, I've got the VHF radio, got my torch. I'm feeling a very lucky person tonight. I'm going to go home, get out of these clothes, get changed, and I'm going to cook myself a nice dinner. So I'm going down there. Wow, it's blowing a gale out here. Man, there's the odd gust going through today at 40 knots. I'm just going nice and slow, trying to tuck into the shoreline where I can, but I don't want to get too close because there's probably rocks down there and the tide is going out. So coming up to the marina now, I'm going to tie the boat on behind Awanui NZ. Another thing I'm going to do now is get a sticker made while I'm here for Awanui NZ and my phone number and YouTube. But I mean, situations like that, a nice person could find it and just not know what to do. I mean, fingers crossed they talk to the police, but a lot of people just take it and run. But anyway, probably lucky it was such bad weather. But anyway, done a bowline. It looks like that the knot came undone at the front of the boat because there's no break in the line. But anyway, now's not the time to worry about that. But I've done a bowline, I pulled it really tight. It's holding. I don't know. I think I'm going to do 2 lines off the back of the boat if I ever leave it there. And bad weather, you know what? Just hunker down on the boat, leave the tender up on the boat. That's the answer. There's Awanui NZ. Oh boy, am I pleased to see her. We've got 6 lines. That rescue boat out there that couldn't help us was bright lights. They were rescuing a boat today that was out there, 5.5 metre seas, single engine, had an engine failure. So someone's got a bad day, but they managed to get him, thank goodness, and he's okay. That's the main thing. I don't know about the boat, who cares? Doesn't matter about the boat, does it? Anyway, another drama for Mark. Let the adventure continue. Oh, hello Awanui NZ. So pleased to see you. And here we are. Ah, what a day. What a day. Good night, everybody. Alright, so I had a great night's sleep last night. So now I'm off into Muros to have a look around. I had a visit this morning from a couple of local guys. Both of them are following me on YouTube and they saw that I was here and they came and dug me out. Really nice guys, both ex-sea captains. One retired from fishing all over the world. The other one was a container ship captain, so that was pretty cool. Or a big ship captain. He's now teaching at the Maritime College. So neat people, but good local knowledge. He said I did the right thing in shifting to that bay to the north of the marina rather than staying at the one to the south. So anyway, just going to head into town and I'm going to have a cup of coffee and then I'm finding a restaurant tonight to go and have what apparently are fantastic garlic prawns. Well, it's amazing. Look at that. There is the yellow arrow on a blue background. So the Camino comes through here. I just keep coming to places where the Camino has been. I asked the chap if it's on the way from Lisbon to Santiago. He said yes. And look at this cool restaurant. Beautiful. Really, really nice. Anyway, there is my cafe con leche. Mwah. If you're ever in Muros, if you're ever in Muros, come to this restaurant. Come to this restaurant. It's beautiful. Look at this perfect little spot in a cafe just by the window. Got myself a chocky dicky. I've got a lovely coffee and a Cheerio. and I'm going to read. How cool is that? Alright, so it's 4 o'clock in the morning. Getting gusts out there coming through about up to 40 knots, 42 knots, so about 75, 80 kilometres per hour. Haven't had much sleep. The Bimini on the back of the boat is just starting to move a little bit. Where the screws and that connect the holder into the pipe, they're never absolute. It doesn't clamp it tight, so that can move a little bit. So it's pretty noisy. I went up there, and it's moving a fair amount. So I've made a decision tomorrow. As soon as the wind abates a little bit, I'm going to take that Bimini covering, the actual canvas, off. I'm going to put it away for the rest of the season. That's pretty easy to do. Problem is the main Bimini cover is not that easy to do. I can undo it at the front and slide it back a bit, so I may look at that, but I'm going to have to do that in really fine weather. I can't do it in this weather, but certainly can't get any sleep anymore. The wind is coming from directly behind the boat. It's a southerly. So possibly, would have been better if I'd had the bow into the wind. But that means tying up on the port side, just making myself another cup of tea here. Yes, I've had a look at the synopsis across the Atlantic, and the worst weather basically comes tomorrow evening, about 60 kilometres per hour, so about 30 knots, but of course you always get gusts a lot more than that. And then after that it abates, and towards the end of this week, so about 4 or 5 days away, it calms off for about 5 or 6 days. So what I'm going to do is get to the next place and find absolute shelter. So there's some really good anchorages in this part of Galicia, up the western coast of the Atlantic, the Spanish Atlantic coast, and along the Bay of Biscay on the northern side. There's some magic anchorages with very, very good shelter. So I'm going to get in there and then work on what I do with that main Bimini, because it is starting to tear a bit. I'm not very happy about it. And look, it's not been overly windy. Crikey, if a Bimini can't take 30 knots of wind, 40 knots of wind, then it's not going to last long, is it? It's just not tight enough, I'm afraid. Anyway, not much sleep. I'm on the marina now, and I'm probably going to be here for 4 or 5 days. It's the safest place to be. I'll be quite happy anchoring, but you just do feel a little bit more secure in an anchorage. But anyway, we'll report further on that tomorrow, eh? Pretty rough out there, pretty rough, man. In fact, what amazed me today, this French yacht came in with 6 guys on it. They did something with their sails. They just came in, put the yacht onto the pier, did something with the sails, and these guys headed back out. They were going out in this. That's gutsy, man. That's gutsy. Yeah, that's really gutsy. It's effectively the edge of the massive depression that's hitting the UK at the moment. But it is moving north and east, so it should slide away over the next 2 days. Anyway, I'll report back. Well, another pretty miserable day. Wind's now gone round to the north. It was a southerly of about, biggest blow that went through was about 42 knots. Now it's round to the north and about 20 odd knots, a bit cooler. You can see up there I've taken the rear Bimini canvas off. That was starting to really lift with those big gusts from behind, so made the decision to take that off, and that's going to come off each winter now, and I'm looking at what I'm going to do with the front Bimini as well. Some work needed doing there. You'll be pleased to know I am heading into town to get a haircut and a shave. How cool is that? Pretty inclement weather over here. It's the Atlantic, Eastern Atlantic, and go and do some shopping, check into the marina, because I didn't do that the other day and it's been so miserable all the time. But first coffee and a pastry. feeling good, feeling good. So I've made the decision to take the boat out of the water by the looks of it here in Muros. Beautiful little seaside town, absolutely love it. I feel really at home here. So there's a good stretch of weather coming from Friday right through to the next Thursday. So next Monday, the plan is to take the boat out, and I have texted the factory just to find out what the anti-foul is and also the diameter of the shafts. So once we find that out, we can organise the anti-foul for a coat. I'm able to do the water blasting myself, which is absolutely magic, and putting on the anti-foul. And then we'll check the prop then as well. I've got a fisherman coming with me. He understands boats and motors 10 times better than I do. He's going to have a look at the vibration for me. We're going to do a really good inspection of the propeller and find out if there's a ding in it from that little log I hit. And then if need be, we can get that repaired, and it may have to go down to Vigo to get rebalanced, worst comes to worst. So I think I'm going to be here for a couple of weeks, which will see me just about through until Gary arrives from New Zealand. And Gary's going to be with me until we get to the UK, and we've got friends coming in May. So I'm just checking now with Nuri at the factory about the shaft size and the anti-foul. And then I'll be sending an email off to Drew at Nordhavn just to check on what the line cutters are that they like to use on Nordhavns. Then I'll take you upstairs. We're going to take the Bimini cover, the main Bimini cover off. We've got to get some alterations made to that, but I absolutely want to get it down for the winter now. So a bit late, I know, winter's half over, but we learn as we go. I bought a dehumidifier today. It's got a self-drain off into the sink, does up to 20 litres a day, and just get that sense that it's, the cool, it's just getting a little bit, not damp, but there's moisture in the windows and that. So I'm going to start, particularly while I'm on the quayside, I'm going to start running the dehumidifier, and it's 325 watts, so it's not too bad if I want to run it on battery, definitely while we're underway anyway. So there's a bit of an update as to what's happening at the moment. Hi Rafe, I see you haven't replied to my email as yet, so I just want to bring you up here and just show you exactly what's happening on the Bimini and the cover, which I just don't see as being acceptable. But so there it is, held up near there. You can see how much it's hanging down. Now that's got no water in it, no water at all. That's how much the Bimini has stretched due to the water in it. And you can see at the front here how I don't know if you can quite pick out the angle, but there is a definitive slope towards the front now, which I believe should have been there right from the start. And because it's so loose, we're now starting to get this happening, look. All right, I'm just going to move this camera around just to try and pick it up. Those sharp stainless steel fittings up here that are actually really well buffed off, but a little bit unsmooth, are getting torn, and I don't think it's, there you go there, look, I'll try and show you there, all along that side, and it's starting on the other side as well, and that is since October. So it's October to November to December to January, no sorry, not October, it was done in about July to August to September to October to November. It's 6 months, Rafe. After 6 months, it's falling apart. And I'm sorry, I just don't see that as acceptable. But you've not replied to my email. The back one is absolutely superb. You can see there it's got ample fall. The water comes off it. Absolutely no problems whatsoever. But the front one is not good. Now, I want to help as much as I can. I'm absolutely happy to put any extra stainless steel that needs to go in, to fit little bits around those metal plates that go up. But I'm sorry, I think the repair to the canvas is on your company, I'm afraid. I just don't see how it could be seen any other way. I don't think you'd be happy with your product going out like that. And I think at the very least, there should have been enough play in these, and with Velcro around here, just like there is at the front there and at the back here, and either it's zipped along so that it pulls it tight, and even maybe there and over the other side. To me, that's the only way it can be rectified. And I think, anyway, you guys are the experts, but I'm happy to work as much as I can with you to go out and find out how much it's going to cost to talk to the people. But I think in the end, the cost is on you. So I'd really like to hear back from you. Cheers, mate. Yeah, so this is a pretty big job, to be honest. There's at least a dozen fixing points through the Bimini that hold it from the stainless steel poles and support the solar panels above. And each one of the brackets that holds the solar panels has got a little leather bit sewn around it and a slot. I've got to take each one off with an Allen key and then slide the Bimini cover over the top of it. You can just see it there. There's the Allen key nut. Undo that, lift up the panel, fold the Bimini over the top of it, and then very slowly work from the front towards the back and then from the side towards the middle. And oh, look, it's pretty cold out here. Hands are getting pretty numb, freezing up a little bit because you're having to hold on to things so tightly, and just getting a little bit of cramp in my fingers. But yeah, you can see the pole structure itself is quite good. It's 30mm stainless steel, but there's just not enough stainless steel to support such a big Bimini. That Bimini, when it's up there, just flaps in any wind. And where those little metal plates are, it's slowly been cutting into the leather, and the edge of the solar panels has been very slightly cutting the canvas as well. So yeah, it took me about 2.5 hours to get it off. As I said, the structure itself is very, very good, but I'm going to have to put some more stainless steel poles across and down the sides, and we're going to have better fixing of the Bimini through the middle before it's any good.